All right, Mekone turned 6. We had some expansion battles, and actually had our first elimination. So yeah, that's pretty quick. Definitely, there are some rush builds out there. So yeah, goodbye, Saramesha. So let's take a look at our expansion battles. I think both of these were pretty easy. Yeah, this is just, minimal wolf tribe. We've seen this army go up against this, and we really haven't taken too many losses, so should be more or less the same. Yeah, maybe lost a couple peltasts as usual, to some archer fire. Pretty hard to avoid that, but yeah, that looked pretty good. Yeah, so again, a couple peltasts, but it's kind of expected, unavoidable, totally fine. And then, yeah, this is our Gigante group. I think also going up against Wolf Tribe. Yeah, a lot of Wolf Tribe around here, which is, kind of good. Yeah, certainly Mekone has no problem expanding into Wolf Tribe, and then also we don't have native nature access, so we're kind of spoiled for choice in terms of where we put down a fort to get some indie nature access, because all the tribes will provide that. Yeah, Tangle Vines is a little rough. Definitely starting to, stack some afflictions on some of these guys at least. So, it's not without cost, these expansions. But, I don't think we're going to lose anybody here. So, yeah, that went pretty well. So, yeah, no losses. And, yeah, cleaned up. Not a particularly tough province. And then we had some events. Yeah, it's fall, so in Mekone, here we are declaring war on our own population. When you're a bunch of horrible giant overlords ruling over, a bunch of human slaves, can cause some problems. So we get some unrest. There would be a lot more unrest if we did not have an E4 in that fort, but we do. So just some unrest on top of the other unrest that we have from our turmoil scales. And then we had an event here in Erd. Yeah, this is unfortunate. Unrest, whatever. But Misfortune 3 kind of sucks because, we're trying to rely on the luck scales to kind of balance, all the gold that we're going to be losing from all this unrest. So getting Misfortune 3 in our lands, we will get rid of it eventually. But, yeah, that kind of hurts, especially because, this is a place we have Dominion. You can see, we must have had, a little bit of luck. Because we're only at Misfortune 2 here, so but it wiped out our luck scales. We are starting to get luck in a few places, so yeah, it'd be nice to grab this throne, but it has, of course, the province we don't control has full luck scales. But that's just part of it, trying to go luck and spread your dominion and etc. So yeah, we're going to be combining our expansion armies for this Bone Tribe. Yeah, this is going to slow down our expansion. It's definitely the safer, more conservative move, which is kind of how I've been expanding so far. Yeah, I think the Gigantes might be able to take this, but again, with this many Bone Tribe, I'd be very worried about a wrap and having them eliminate the commander. And then this starting army might be able to pull it out, but regardless, I think either of these forces by themselves could take significant attrition. And since they're both right here, I'd prefer them to not. And then they can split out again, and take probably these two provinces in the next turn. Because, yeah, Hinnom's capital is down here, so both of these are in his cap circle, so I think I've already talked to him and said, I'm not going to be, he was worried I was going to be taking 234 here, but I let him know, yeah, I see that's your cap circle. Not looking to get into a war just yet, so yeah, not looking to piss off any neighbors. That said, still watching this conflict. He did not jump onto Marverni's capital here with his boar. Not his boar, his bull. So yeah, not sure about that. Anytime you're jumping on a capital, that's definitely dangerous. And, he's going to be out of Dominion, so he's not going to have the advantage of his bless. Looked like he was unsupported. So yeah, maybe that was just a bump. I don't think so. I think by this point I had talked with Marverni. And, he said that Hinnom was attacking him, and he'd even suggested that I take 207 so that Hinnom doesn't get it. So certainly, like, I could have maybe used this force. I can't. It might be the next turn that Maverne mentions that. And then that's definitely something that people do. If they're getting attacked by somebody, they just kind of want anybody but who's attacking them to benefit. So yeah, I think that explains this recruitment. I don't really 100% remember why I switch off of Gigantes. I do think, they cost a lot in terms of upkeep, and we have found one really valuable province, but a lot of these other like this is 11 income, this is 20 income, even this like 43, this is only 33. Again, like, we're really having some unrest problems here, like kind of bringing down our income in general. Like, the capital's down to 217, so there is a bit of an income issue for sure. And the Gigantes are not cheap. And I do think having like some human troops as Mekone to kind of bulk out your forces can be really useful. So that is probably why I'm recruiting this, and this is a little more disposable, so I can go and throw it against this province, because there's definitely a danger that I bump into whatever Hinnom is going to be using to try to take this. So I believe this force will be headed out to try to capture this. And like, realistically, like, I probably don't. I have one other expansion group headed out here. So yeah, unfortunately, this Highland, the Gigantes movement is pretty good, right? Like, map move 18, that's not bad. That's definitely better than average. But Highlands are really tough to move through. So yeah, we can't move 2 provinces. I was really hoping could just jump immediately on this. But yeah, looking at either taking this or this, kind of depending on what people do. Looks like Niflheim is just like site searching probably here. So that's good news. Like, hopefully we'll be able to get in and snag this. And then, but if they do, they could bring a force in from here. So if they take this, then we'll go for this. And if they take, this, we'll go for that. So, we have options by moving here. And, again, if we move down here, this is, in Marverne's cap circle, and is a lot of Bone Tribe. So it would be a little risky to just use this party. And I think probably Maverne must have not offered this province this turn, because otherwise I probably would have used this expansion group to go snag this. Although I definitely do want to extend my borders out in this direction and this direction. So yeah, I think that covers movement and everything, and recruitment. Getting another mage, one of these guys, they're not great, they can lead troops. They're okay researchers. Again, this may be something, would have cut this mage, try to save up a little more gold, maybe get a couple more scouts. But yeah, it definitely is nice to get your research going like earlier on. But yeah, certainly in the future, maybe not go so heavy on mages so early. But yeah, that's what I did. Research is the same, still, progressing quite slowly. So yeah, that was turn 6. All right, Mekone, turn 7. We got a messenger from Relay lamenting Sarmasha's early exit. So yeah. And then we found a magic site with our guy who's searching for forts. And is it a fort? No, it's not a fort, sadly. But it is kind of a cool site. We'll take a look at that in a second. And then we went after those Bone Tribe with our combined expansion groups. So yeah, it was a little tough trying to get everybody to hit at the same time, because these Gigantes are decently fast. I think they are faster than pretty much all of our human troops. So yeah, this is quite a few Bone Tribe. I think not as bad as some of the scouting reports suggested. I think I might have these guys set to attack rear. I didn't actually check that, and it does look that way. It's kind of unfortunate. It looks like, the majority of the Bone Tribe are actually hitting sort of our smallest and weakest group. And then, these guys, I don't think they're set to attack rear. I'll have to double check. But anyway, a lot of them are going for like this back line here, which is kind of an issue, because now really our weakest troops are going up against this Bone Tribe. So this is a case, if I'd had the Gigantes on the other flank, I think this would have worked out really well. But yeah, it's one of those situations where the scripting didn't really work out in our favor, and even like the attack rear didn't quite get this guy all the way in the back. So they're gonna have their commander. Not to mention, like, most of these guys have berserked. So yeah, there go the peltasts again. Like, when the peltasts get into melee, they're not actually like terrible. Okay, they're routing, so their skills are even worse now. Their skills are like mediocre. Like, really, the only thing that's like abysmal is their morale, and then their protection. So I mean, they will get kills, but they take a lot of casualties. And you can see like our lighter hoplites were pretty much eliminated. Didn't lose any gigantes, I don't think, but and then this is actually a little bit freaky back here, because honestly, even one of these Bone Tribe, well, maybe not him. I mean, this guy's only got a fist. His attack skill is actually pretty good because he's got Blood Surge active because he blessed himself. So yeah, I mean, he could probably punch that one Bone Tribe to death. But yeah, I mean, anytime there's units loose and they could be going after your guys in robes, that's not really good. That's not part of the plan. So yeah, that was rough. We definitely, I think, a good thing that we combined expansion forces. It would have been nice to have it work out better than this, but just sort of demonstrates that, like, Bone Tribe can definitely be rough, and maybe would have in the next time have a little tighter combination with these gigantes, because kind of having them out on the flank was nice. Like, could have worked. Like, they're decently fast, and it's nice to snipe the commanders, but against Bone Tribe it doesn't matter as much because they're berserkers. And then like our units were a little spread out in terms of supporting each other, and I think that's why we took so many casualties, because the peltasts got up into combat, and our best units weren't really supporting them, so that hurts. We kind of only have one expansion army now, so at least didn't lose anybody in the retreat, but collecting them is going to be a hassle. And then we slaughtered a bunch of helots, so now unrest has gone down and our population has gone down. This is the good result of this event chain. So I mean, it's just something that you have to deal with as Mekone. Definitely, having the unrest be subtracted is nice. Losing the population always hurts, but that's just part of it. So let's take a look here. So we really don't have so these guys were on attack closest, but I don't know, for whatever reason they decided to go for the back line. I mean, you can see like this starting army is now like not really a force, and so we're gonna be sending, I think, let's see, maybe still everybody. So we're just gonna keep these guys combined, because this certainly can't operate independently, and we're gonna send them up against these horse tribe, which we should be able to take out without too much difficulty. The peltasts will probably take some archer fire, and we'll probably lose some more. But at this point, 10 peltasts, it doesn't really matter too much. Certainly an argument to be made to like just kind of send these guys home to rebuild this force. I am recruiting more human troops here. I think some of this we are moving out with that last group, so I must have discussed with Mekone in terms of taking this province. But I think some of this, getting some peltasts for patrolling, because we need to get patrolling up sooner rather than later, because even with that unrest reduction, we're still at 22 unrest. Our income is only 236 in our capital. Not good. And then we just kind of have unrest all throughout our lands, and sadly, this so many Bone Tribe, but this province is basically worthless. I mean, even it's got 20 unrest, sure, but it's like population 2,300. Like, this is never going to be a great province, which is sad, because we do want a fort here probably for the Bone Tribe, There is a province here with Bone Tribe, but like it's a wasteland. So yeah, those just tend to have like, really poor income and populate. It's not a great place for a fort usually. I mean, like a mountainous forest like usually has better like this has like garbage resources too, which is like, I don't know, like usually mountains and forests make for decent resources at least, but I guess just the population is so miserable. So yeah, that's definitely very sad because we took a lot of casualties taking this province, and a lot of times I feel like clearly this is not always the case, but if there's more defenders, in my experience, it tends to be a more valuable province. Not always, obviously. So yeah, it was kind of sad to see that this was such a miserable province because I was thinking like, all right, like 60 Bone Tribe, like should at least be a mediocre province and a good place for a fort. We'll probably still put a fort here because we do want to get some of those what are they, bone readers, I think. Yeah, because we want some death access, and they can get some air, and the air death cross path is kind of cool. So I mean, they're solid. It's probably still worth a fort, but yeah, it's not gonna be a great recruitment center. Don't really have like a ton of spots that are gonna be great for a fort. Like honestly, are kind of other than this province. We've talked about, kind of the pluses and minuses of forting that. Like our other two best options would be in our cap circle, which we can't. I mean, we could do, but we don't have a lot of connections already in the capital. And we do want resources as Mekone. That is important. So eliminating a bunch of not even a bunch of resources, a good amount of resources from these. Yeah, even this 29 from a highland. Come on, map. So yeah, anyway, eliminating resources from our capital is not ideal, especially with so few connections. So yeah, I mean, we'll probably be putting a fort somewhere that's not great. And that's just the way of it. I know, like, certainly this has actually been kind of a chattier full house. It's always kind of interesting to see, some games, like, people... You just get a chattier or less chatty group. But yeah, people have kind of been talking in general chat. And I am not the only person who is very sad about how much money, they're getting out of like some of their provinces. So it sounds like, just this map in general is, kind of rough in spots. So that's good news, at least, that we're not the only person suffering. And of course, I mean, this is a great province. So can't complain too much. Speaking of it being a great province, so it wasn't a fort that we found, which is sad, but this is kind of interesting. So this reveals magic score graphs, which, like, I don't know. I mean, gems would be nice. I haven't really, like, score graphs is not something I've messed around with a ton. I know there's certain units like spies. If you like infiltrate people's capitals, you can get like their mundane score graphs, I believe. So anyway, there's a variety of ways to kind of get a hold of people's score graphs, and it is pretty interesting. I mean, we're so early that we'll take a look here. So these are the score graphs. Some games just turn them on, like, so everybody can see the score graphs like at all times. I don't think I've ever played a game like that, and I personally don't like that because I like the uncertainty and everything. It's like if you can see the score graphs, then sometimes it's like kind of obvious where it's just like, oh look, like this person is the game leader, like let's all gang up on them. Yeah, I don't know. You should have to scout, and have a little uncertainty. So, but it depends on how you like to play. Anyway, we do have some score graphs now, so we can kind of take a look at least what people have been doing. Like, so we can see Dominion. I think it's just research and gem. I think you can always see ascension points, which is just how many thrones that people have claimed, which no claims yet. So yeah, so we can't see income. Our income is at least going up mostly. Not as much as I would like, and we have no forts, and our province count is increasing, so that's all good. Let's see. So gem income, I think, we are just, I don't think we've done a little bit of searching. Some people, who is this? Wow. So Therados has been doing quite a bit of searching and is like, way ahead. And then, of course, here's Sarmatia. They got eliminated. But yeah, I mean, everybody's like pretty, most people are just on their capital sites or have done like a little bit of searching. Let's see, who's this purple? Let's take a look at like our immediate neighbors, right? So I think we see Ermor now. Although, let's see, Ulm or Verney. We don't care about Sorrow. I think we just saw Kalum. We've seen TNN, definitely. We've seen Niflheim. Hinnom is definitely somebody that we're interested in. So if we're looking at just our neighbors, more or less, yeah, you can see like there's not too much difference. It's pretty early. And then like research-wise, like, yeah, we're all kind of like neck and neck. Nobody's, exploded in research, at least for the immediate neighbors. So this will definitely be more useful later on, because we'll be able to see, and honestly can kind of use it diplomatically. Like, I don't know. We'll see. That's definitely going to take a lot more work. But, knowledge is power, as they say. And so kind of letting people know that, like, oh, hey, like, somebody is really ahead in research. Like, you should jump on them. You can definitely use that information diplomatically. So an interesting find, definitely. Although, no, like, immediate power, right? Like, no gems or anything from it. And it's not a fort. But still a cool site. So yeah, we'll maybe check in periodically to the score graphs and kind of just see how the game state is doing. So yeah, let's see. So we talked about going in on the horse tribe. Yeah, Niflheim didn't capture either of these. Nobody else captured them. So we're gonna go for this. It'd be kind of nice to close out like this choke. And it was a really easy province. There's certainly, yeah, an argument to be made, because we'll have to backtrack to get to this province. Either way, we'd have to backtrack if we wanted to capture both of these provinces. But I'm pretty sure that Niflheim already has this. So, whereas I'm less sure, actually, I think we saw TNN's flag down here. So yeah, kind of either way, like, we're probably not going to pick up a ton of independent provinces, with this expansion party. But, hey, every little bit helps. And then, yeah, we talked about this force moving out, and we talked about, like, recruitment, getting another E4. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really justify this one. They're not terrible mages. We already have our Earth 2 guy. We only have the one fort. We have 2 E4s. I think it's probably just like this is like what we can afford in terms of mages. But again, like, yeah, I think in the future we'd be focusing a little more on saving up for infrastructure. And it's like, well, if I can't afford like the mages that I really want, like the Polemarchs or, maybe the Cyclopses, then it's like, well, you're not big enough yet. You really probably shouldn't be recruiting mages at this point. But, we're getting another E4. Like I said, they're not the worst mages, and some more research is always helpful. So, yeah, I think that covers turn 7. All right, Mekone, turn 8. We had a couple of expansion battles and a few unexpected events. I actually don't remember how easy these were. I think these were the horse tribe, yeah. With the remnants of, our starter army and our extra Gigantes. So yeah, looks like they're mostly shooting at the Peltasts. Do have to worry a little bit about this commander catching arrows, but yeah, as a giant, a lot less concerning. Yeah, they're also shooting at our Gigantes, which is good news. This is quite a bit of horse tribe. Can definitely be a problem for some expansion groups. But yeah, with the high protection and everything and the high hit point pool, we're going to have no problem cleaning these guys out even once we get into melee. We don't have to worry too much about their archer fire other than the Peltasts, who, if we lose a couple of them... I should probably stop saying that. I feel every episode is like, Peltasts, not a problem to lose. Which is true when you're Mekone. So yeah, this is going pretty well. We can speed this up. Yeah, they are taking a second for our human troops to chop through, but they pulled it off. So yeah, lost to Peltast. So let's see, what's our other battle here? Yeah, I think this is another Gigante expansion group. And yeah, this is super minimal. Probably don't even need to watch this. Yeah, turns out militia, not so great. Heavy infantry hang out for a little bit, so, go heavy infantry. So yeah, that was no problem. Cleaned that up, no losses, probably not even a lot of damage. And then yeah, we got our assassin. He was somebody who killed a lot of helits, so that's great. Now we'll use him to assassinate our enemies, whoever they are. We'll take a look at him in a second, and then yeah, we found some air gems, so that's cool. Let's see, is this yeah? So this is arguably some luck coming into play, which is nice. 5 air gems. Definitely a nice thing. So yeah, let's take a look at that assassin real quick. So these guys, yeah, they're good. I mean, I don't actually know of a lot of giant assassins. I mean, it's Dominions. I'm sure there must be more out there, but they're not too common. And like having some more hit points for your assassin is definitely nice. It's kind of rough because they don't have like really any gear, right? They just have a dagger. And no helmet, no armor. So you really kind of got to gear them, I think, in order for them to be effective. But they have pretty good combat speed, which I think is good for an assassin, because usually you want them to close the distance pretty quickly. They're not a mage, and mages generally they're just the most powerful units, so they tend to make the best assassins. So, he has no magic to like buff himself up, or use like lightning bolt, to kill his targets. But his skills are, solid and like will improve as he gets more experience. And obviously he has a ton of strength. So like if he does connect, like he's probably going to one-shot most targets. So yeah, I mean, not a perfect assassin, but we get him for free. I don't know if he takes, upkeep. Okay, so it does cost upkeep. That's actually a bit rough. I didn't realize that. I think it's probably still always worth keeping the E4s around, because there's gonna be so much unrest and issues if you don't do that. It's like adding some additional, like dodging upkeep from these assassins probably just isn't worth it. And they can be useful. They do also have patrol bonus. Like commanders by themselves usually like aren't super great at just they don't provide a ton of patrol strength over like just some regular unit. But I mean, this is a pretty big bonus. So yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to help in terms of like bringing down unrest and finding scouts and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, nice to have those guys. Probably not going to use them for a little bit. Honestly, maybe could use them against this throne here. Still have to ping something off it and see. I don't know. Mages are tough to assassinate, and these guys aren't mages. So anyway, we have them patrolling. So yeah, we have no upcoming expansions really, which is kind of unfortunate. It looks like Niflheim didn't grab this province, so again, this island is really messing us up. It would be nice if we could just jump right into it, but we're gonna move through the highland nice and slow, and hopefully, still nobody takes it. We'll see. And then yeah, we're moving out to take this from Raverni, so Hinnom doesn't get it. It does look like Hinnom has at least backed off a little bit, because he had some soldiers here, but they have since disappeared from the border, at least. Maybe just because I moved my scouts out, actually. So I guess they could still be here. I am definitely worried about a bump here, because I mean, this is not a lot. I mean, he didn't have a lot, so we'll see, but yeah, this could go badly, depending on what we run into. So a bit risky, but on the other hand, the longer we wait, the more likely Hinnom just grabs it, and then we'd have to go to war with Hinnom to get it from him. Speaking of war with Hinnom, so yeah, so he jumped in and managed to nab this, which I was not thrilled about. This is definitely the downside, of not being able to use both of those expansion parties like separately, to hit 2 provinces at once. Yeah, I was especially kind of annoyed because like he still hasn't cleared his cap circle, which I had said like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go for that. So he's kind of using that information, to expand even farther. Now, I mean, that said, like, this is actually like closer to his capital than it is to mine. I just kind of have a bit of an odd shape to my expansion. Not a terrible shape. Like, we're somewhat compact, usually you don't want to be like really long and spidery. So we have like a decent shape, I would say, but it's not really centered on our capital, which is usually kind of how you want it. I mean, we just have a really close neighbor down here, and then of course this throne kind of made expansion awkward, like in this direction. And I've been maybe too much like avoiding the coast. So yeah, I mean, I really don't like fighting the underwater nations, but realistically, they're going to be busy for a long time. So as long as it's not like, Therados, like right here, who, wants like coastal enclaves, like probably not gonna, interact with them too much for a little while. But anyway, so yeah, my expansion has been kind of focused like up in this direction. So this is honestly like not even that aggressive of a move from Hinnom, but like just, considering that it's like, okay, he's already like kind of trying to eat Marverni, and like now he's also like just kind of flinging himself way up here. This kind of, and like he extends a decent amount, down in this direction too. So that feels a little overextended to me, and I had definitely wanted this province, and this province also, like, there's a lot of horse drive there, but not a lot of income, not a lot of population, so just another just kind of worthless province. So, having stacked like so many like kind of worthless provinces, and not having gotten a ton of provinces, I think, what do we add? 1, 2. So we're at 10 right now, on turn 8, which is, okay, right? Like that's not a great expansion, but also considering that it's a tighter map, like it's not terrible. It's not the worst expansion, but like that's kind of how this, these game settings are kind of designed. Really, it's like, everybody feels a little too tight and a little too small, so it definitely encourages early action. And yeah, seeing this, I was kind of like, I really wanted that province. It's like, it's a wasteland. Come on, just give it to me, buddy. You have plenty. So kind of starting to think that, yeah, like Hinnom might be a good like early war target, especially too because he's probably relying somewhat on that bull, who our Gigantes can totally kill. So it's like, that aspect of it, not too worried about. Haven't really seen like any real armies from him. We saw like a few like Avite light infantry, I think, who are solid, like, but there weren't that many of them. And this is like some sort of like, chariot expansion. It's got like one Rephite, which I believe is sacred. That's not that much. Like, we could definitely take that. Now, I mean, he probably has more than that we haven't seen yet. Our scouting is not great. But he's got a lot of territory to cover, and he's already fighting someone. So we have like a built-in ally for this war. So like, this is definitely looking like the most advantageous, war for me to, I was already thinking about jumping in on this. And then, now he's like moving into what I was planning on being my territory. Didn't communicate that to him. So, not his fault. But yeah, now starting to think like, okay, maybe an early war after all, and probably Hinnom. Still not like 100% sure. Talking with like Niflheim some and Kalem, do you want to lock down like at least a few non-aggression pacts with a few other neighbors, before we jump in. But yeah, starting to think about that, I think, and to that end, starting to recruit some more Gigantes. So like this is pretty good recruitment, other than the fact that it's probably still again too early. There's no way, like, we have 13 gold left, like with our income and like our more expensive forts, we'd need to forego, like at least a turn of recruitment, maybe like kind of a turn and a half of recruitment, to be able to put a fort down. We're still searching for our free fort. So yeah, kind of relying on that, probably too much, because especially too, like once you start to stack up a bunch of upkeep, you end up having to wait even more turns, right, to build up that gold for the infrastructure. So it is kind of critical to get it down early, while your upkeep costs are still relatively low, and you don't drive up your upkeep costs by like, recruiting a bunch of elites and like really expensive commanders. Like, yeah, how much is the, 118, like that's not cheap. Like, even though he's sacred, they cost a lot to bring in. So anyway, like these are good units and good commander to be recruiting, definitely. But in retrospect, probably a little early, probably leaning on that, free fort, like maybe a little too much. It's like, if I don't find a fort, like I don't really have, there's no backup plan here. And with this, upkeep going to, continue to rise, we're going to have income problems, because of all of our unrest. We are starting patrol with our assassin, but then also with these human troops here. So like this is good. That's we'll probably use this as the basis of an army later. But yeah, definitely like any available troops, want to have those guys patrolling to try to control this unrest, especially in the capital. But yeah, as our upkeep continues to rise and our income honestly like may fall now at this point, if we're not expanding, really like needing like some luck events, which, are notoriously finicky, right? And like, I mean, we got a luck event, air gems, which is cool, but yeah, we really need money right now. And you can't control that. So, one of the issues definitely of like trying to go luck, to offset like money problems, like you cannot count on that. You certainly can't count on free forts. But fingers crossed, we get a free fort here. Because yeah, we're not looking like we're going to build our infrastructure on time. Turn 8, we're broke, and we're not going to have 750 gold next turn. Not even close. But we will have another province. So yeah, and then I think research, yeah, pretty much the same. So yeah, that was turn 8. All right, Mekone, turn 9. Our quest for the free fort continues to elude us. We didn't even find any non-gem producing magic sites, so sad times. And then, yeah, this was us going after that province that Mekone wanted us to take, so that Hinnom did not. And this is a pretty questionable force, which thankfully is only up against PD, although it's, not no PD, and it's lizards, who can be kind of nasty. They don't really have much protection. But, I mean, their skills are mediocre, but they deal a lot of damage, and they have 2 attacks. So, yeah, and the scripting for this was not great. I didn't really time it very well, so it was a little ragged. And, yeah, I mean, their tridents, yeah, are definitely able to get through the protection on our hoplites, which is unfortunate. Like, these guys really do suffer when the enemy has attacks that can, punch through the protection. That's really, like, their primary advantage. So they all go down. This guy's routing off. But it looks like our peltasts are... These guys are not... actually, their morale's better than I thought. Wow. Okay, they're getting some bonuses, but yeah, still... So anyway, yeah, we kind of get a little lucky there that they route. And then, of course, our peltasts route. This guy is not... No, he is a taskmaster. He must just have less. Because, yeah, I feel like these guys' morale are lower than normal. Also, like, hostile dominion. Like, this kind of stuff really can matter when, like, your base morale is 7. Like, all, like, the bonuses and everything. Like, you really kind of... you'll have a battle in one place, where it's like it's their home province and you're in friendly dominion and you're getting all these bonuses and it's like, oh yeah, their morale's okay. And then like you go somewhere else and now all of a sudden you're getting negatives instead of bonuses and it's like, what happened? Everybody routed. So yeah, you definitely kind of have to, pay a little more attention to this, which I did not enough for this. So anyway, our peltasts route, but I believe, yeah, Mekone's commander has routed, and, our one giant in robes, proudly saves the day and doesn't run off. So, that's good, I guess. A win is a win. Not the best win, but we got the province, which is kind of all that matters. So, now we're... a little more free diplomatically. We don't necessarily have to declare war, on Hinnom, although we're already kind of like thinking in that direction, and talking with Mekone a bit that like, yeah, we're planning on jumping in, especially with a move like this where we're taking a province from him, even though he requested it. It's like, I feel like, it's a good diplomacy to then say like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna help you out. So, but we don't have to jump in right away, which is good because we're not ready to jump in. I prefer to jump in kind of on my own timetable, rather than, having to attack Hinnom to get this province. So anyway, a few of our peltasts make it back to friendly territory, so that's good. And then we caught a battle between Mekone and Hinnom, where Mekone was attacking out. And like, yeah, this is, solid squad. Looks like they're only up against, a decent amount of PD. But I think they're going to have no problem with this. They have pretty good shields, which is good against those archers. These guys are the bare-chested variants, so they don't actually have any armor. I mean, they have a helmet at least. So yeah, they can be a little squishy because their protection is really low. But they have javelins and their skills are decent. Like, I think they're going to have no problem here. Probably take some casualties. Looks like oh yeah, another set to fire. Maybe, yeah, interesting. It's interesting that they fired at the archers. So yeah, I think that went pretty well for Marverni. Yeah, and just a couple, like those guys aren't too expensive. Yeah, really cheap actually. Nice. So yeah, I mean, definitely looks like Marverni has fight left in him. Like this probably wouldn't do so hot against that bull. So yeah, hopefully that bull stays away for Marverni, because that could definitely go badly. But yeah, he's definitely not done. So another reason to jump in to this conflict. And then let's see, we had some random events. I don't think we have our luck scale. I hope we don't have our luck scales here yet. So that's bad. Although I think we make almost no money in that province anyway, so whatever. And then we found death gems, so that's really nice. Again, getting like some more gem like luck events, most likely. Let's take a look here. Nope, just random RNG. Nothing to do with our luck scales. And then there was a worldwide event. Conjuration rituals are cheaper. I don't even think we have any conjuration research yet. I mean, this definitely can matter if you can take advantage of it, but we can't. And then we killed some Helits in Mekone, and then one of our guys was promoted. So Mekone's troops, the human troops, have like this promotion system, which I don't know. It's honestly like maybe you can take good advantage of it, but it's a bit of a hassle. So anyway, this is a guy that's been promoted. He gets this, sweet little crest here, right, that marks him out, that he's like way cooler than these guys. And I mean, for him, it is like a really big deal because he's not a slave anymore. So congrats. But yeah, now we have to pay him more. Right. So that's not fantastic. And then now he doesn't get the bonus for like the taskmaster. Now I don't think it matters for regular units, but there are a few items that I think will boost like slaves morale, but then will hurt like regular troops morale, and I mean we don't have those yet, but my playtesting, it was definitely something that was useful to forge. And so it's like you kind of end up having to like shuffle the promoted guys out to guys that don't have that item. Anyway, and it doesn't really matter too much. I don't think their stats get, I actually don't know if their stats get boosted. I mean, they generally have boosted stats anyway, because I think they need to hit like a certain amount of experience or something. I don't actually know exactly what governs their promotion, but it's often offset this dude doesn't have an arm. So he does not actually have a shield. He's just got his spear. I mean, these guys tend to be kind of messed up because, by the time they get promoted, there's, been fighting a while. It kind of mostly doesn't really matter. And I don't bother reshuffling, at least not this early. And I think that was it. Yeah. So, let's see. What are we doing here? We got beat to this province by TNN. That sucks. And you don't want to see the elves get big. But, here we are. They beat us to it. I mean, expansion is kind of done for us. I mean, again, we could go here, but we've talked about that. Verni's cat, blah, blah, blah. We could go here, but, it's a bit of a reach for us. Certainly something we could grab. I know Caleb had mentioned that, he wasn't interested in this province, so he said we were free to take it. I don't think I'm in contact with Ulm yet. This is a little concerning, although Ulm does a lot of recruitment in highlands and mountains and etc. So, he could just be recruiting these guys, to go take them somewhere else. That said, Ulm, their capital is here. They look pretty small. Because Caleb has moved into this cave. I think this was neutral before. Definitely want to keep an eye on this, but he could just be building this up to go after these barbarians, or again, Ulm kind of does a lot of non-fort recruitment. So this is maybe a little less threatening, than it normally would be, if you see an army just show up on your border. And this has sort of been building slowly, over subsequent turns. So it does look like recruitment. So I'm not too worried about this yet. I mean, since expansion is mostly done, let's see, who are we sending? Oh, we're sending our assassin. So, hey, we're going to retreat him. He'll hopefully live, but, it's kind of, we got him for free. So, arguably, I don't know, actually, our commander is kind of more valuable. These guys can't lead any troops. And we really do want, we're almost up to, over 300 income again. Our unrest is going down. So anyway, like, yeah, this guy patrolling is kind of vital and, like, more important than, like, our, unkitted giant assassin that we can't really kit yet anyway. So we're sending him in to, see. Like, yeah, I mean, this is down to 70 now. Like, we could take this, definitely, if there's no mages here. So, yeah. Let's see. And then what are we doing army-wise? So, yeah, we didn't find anything here. Moving our site searcher. Going to look for a fort here. We kind of have this guy hanging out to probably either build a fort here or here if our searching doesn't work out. So that's kind of like why he's out here, because he definitely will be building a fort at some point in the future. Sending this guy back, for research. Like, he's not going to do any more, fighting or anything. And then I think our prophet is coming down here, just kind of bringing the remains of this army back. Probably going to link up with stuff from the capital, maybe in the capital, or maybe going to bring the capital stuff out. Because, we're doing, more recruitment of Gigantes, and then, another just regular commander, to help ferry troops around. Again, like, these Gigantes won't refuse to be led. I can't, like, drag them around with, like, just this random commander. Like, really do need, giants even to shuttle them around. So, having a couple extra of these guys is going to be really handy. Just provide a little more flexibility. Certainly could lead them, again, like with mages, or like, especially like these guys they're really good leaders. So it's great to put troops on them, but they're also mages. So you might as well have them researching, as long as I'm, like, not headed immediately into combat. So just in terms of, like, reshuffling troops, these guys are going to be pretty useful. And they're good leaders as well. So, definitely useful to have around. And they're a little cheaper. So, we actually have, like, a little bit of gold banked here. So maybe thinking about a backup plan in case we don't find a free fort. We're going to need a lot more than 186 saved up, but yeah, I think, we still quite won't be able to get it next turn, especially because our, upkeep is going to continue to rise, but anyway, we at least have some gold banked for some possible future infrastructure. So yeah, and then this group also moving back, so really just kind of consolidating on the capital for now. But yeah, definitely starting to think about, like, okay, yeah, maybe you want to jump in with this war, between Hinnom and Merverni. And then research-wise, yep, still the same. So yeah, that was turn 9.